Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank you to God, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, who has given us healthy in, in order we can gather in here. So today, I'm Sulistya Ningsih Pratiwi and my friends Avira Sahara will explain and express our argumentation, and we will hold our mini debate about this house believes that all states have a right to a nuclear weapon. Sulistya Ningsih Pratiwi, me as pro side, and Avira Sahara as opposition side. Okay, I will start the debate. I'm Sulistya Ningsih Pratiwi as a pro side absolutely agree with the motion because my argument is nuclear possession is their right as a barrier to a major conflict and strengthens the status of the state. Because nuclear weapons are only owned by a few countries in the world. These countries include America, Russia, China, Britain, India, North Korea, and Pakistan. The presence of nuclear weapons is a major obstacle in starting major conflicts such as during World Wars I and II. With the existence of these weapons in several countries, they will think again if they want to attack other countries. Considering the destructive impact it causes does not only affect one party, but all of them. That is why some countries prefer diplomacy to resolve conflicts. Rather than using nuclear weapons, in today's era, globalization, almost anything can be done quickly. This is due to the extraordinary transfer of technology, which is growing very rapidly. Technology such as the internet is a major factor in this globalization, with the existence of a more profitable globalization. The global community can grow together. Society will grow by developing international relations through diplomacy and negotiation, which are certainly not wars. It is undeniable that the countries in the world, but Russia have nuclear weapons, are the big countries. America and Russia are countries that have the most nuclear warheads, followed by several other countries that have hundreds of nuclear. Those who have nuclear weapons will be considered more in diplomacy efforts compared to those who do not have them. This is because they have the strength and potential to face other countries. One example is North Korea, which has always been monitored by several countries such as the Americas. And the effect of a nuclear weapons explosion are devastating. There are 5 zones that can be taken into account. Zone 1 is the zone where all vanish into favor with a 98 fatality percent. Zone 2 was total damage with 90% fatality. Zone 3 is a massive damage zone where buildings such as factories, building, bridge, and other collapse to pieces chip with a 65% fatality. And zone 4 is a severe head damage zone. Everything burned. Residents experience shortness of breath caused by oxygen is sucked in by combustion originating from a nuclear explosion. So total death in when the bomb was detonated in Japan, there were about 80,000 people and counting after the next 2 to 5 years with a total people. This occurs due to radiation ionization to acute radiation sickness. history was only recorded 2 nuclear bombings against other countries, namely when the Second World War in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Since then, nuclear weapons detonated more than 2,000 times with the intent of testing unclear, with demo entry seeing the destructive power of the nuclear bombs power the United States and the Soviet Union compared to impact weapons. Even so, these race never once used to attack each other between these countries. It was noted that America, the United States, has a total 19 nuclear warheads with a total active warhead. Meanwhile, Russia is recorded to have a total headwaters active nuclear warheads. Because I have proven that nuclear possession is their right as a barrier to a major conflict and strengthen the status of the state, so I believe that all states have rights to nuclear weapons.
Okay, next I'm Avira Sahara as the opposition side. Nuclear technology has the potential to be utilized to create weapons of mass destruction. Nuclear weapons is dangerous. Nuclear weapons contain a very intense amount of radiation consisting of various harmful substances that will be released into the air once the effects of the explosion are over. Mentioned on the back of international campaigns to abolish nuclear weapons, the radiation produced by nuclear explosion can kill or hit the exposed human body. It's estimated that about 50% or more of humans will die if they are in this zone within a few days or weeks. Nuclear bombs also save a number of long-term effects, which later become a controversy for all countries in the world. The long-term effects of nuclear explosion are prolonged health problems and environmental destruction, as evidenced by the tragedy of World War II when the United States launched the nuclear weapons on Hiroshima and Nagasaki on the 6th and 9th August of 1945. In Hiroshima, 140,000 people were killed, and in Nagasaki, 80,000 people were killed. Thousands of people have died as a result of the bomb's radiation, either as a result of injury or illness. In both cities, the majority of the deaths in both places were locals. The Hiroshima and Nagasaki nuclear bomb results in a larger number of deaths and live fear in the international community. Based on the tragedy happened, I think not all states have right to nuclear weapons. If the states who are not ready or capability in the using of nuclear, the right of nuclear weapons should refer to states who have ready and capability to use it based on circumstances, so that there is no misappropriation of nuclear weapons which will have bad impact.
Okay, you said that nuclear technology can be used incorrectly for weapons of mass destruction. But I guess you could be right, but that is if the nuclear weapon is launched. Otherwise, the things you mentioned would never have happened. As I said before, that there were only 2 nuclear launch during the World War, namely on August 6 and 9, 1945, where nuclear weapons from the United States were accidentally dropped on the cities of Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Japan. After that, the scary year, it was proven that there were no more nuclear bombs that were intentionally bombed because they really endangered the lives of many people. However, from a defense, security, and political perspective, these nuclear weapons has a very extraordinary appeal. If every country has these nuclear weapons, then it is guaranteed that there will be no major conflicts that threaten each other from one country to another, because they certainly know what the consequence. If there is a big war, then it will be detrimental to the country itself. And the nuclear is basically used in war. However, nuclear is also thought to be able to prevent major battles from happening. Some people believe that weapons of mass destruction were actually made to prevent war. This idea is supported by the existence of successful example during the supposed by the existence of successful example during the Cold War between the US and the Soviet Union or today's Russia.
Okay, based on Suli's statement that all states have right to nuclear weapons as a barrier to a major conflict and strengthen the status of the state. But how about public life? Nuclear weapons contain a very intense amount of radiation consisting of various harmful substances that will be released into the air once the effect of the explosion are over. Mentioned on the page of the international campaigns to abolish radiation produced by a nuclear explosion can kill or hit the exposed human body. It is estimated that about 50% or more of humans will die if they are in this zone within a few days or weeks. Not only save instant danger, nuclear bombs also save a number of long-term effects which later become a controversy for all countries in the world. The long-term effects of nuclear explosion are prolonged health problems and environmental destruction. Most of the people who are exposed to radiation will not survive, while the survivors will be exposed to various deadly diseases such as cancer. In addition, genetic damage will also which will eventually cause disability for those who are directly exposed to it and their offspring. Even if the right of nuclear weapons as a barrier to a major conflict and strengthen status of a state, there are more several technologies of weapon that can use as a barrier to a major conflict. Furthermore, the development of technological advancement in this modern era are more advanced. So the state can use another ways or developing a new technology for weapons by considering the consequence of weapon. So based on my argument, which prioritizes interest and provides evidence of weapon dangers, I believe my side to win this debate.
Okay, before I close my debate on the government side, let me first compare the results of the statements of the two arguments from both the government and the opposition side. The first one, the opposition said that nuclear would become a weapons of mass destruction, which would lead to a third world war after the Second World War in 1945. Second, nuclear weapons are released if there are people who have a major role in nuclear launches and have reasons so that the decision cannot be contested. Usually, the president has the right to a nuclear release permit. So we can draw the conclusion that nuclear weapons are not weapons of mass destruction, but are weapons as a shield against the threats of major conflicts between countries. So countries need to have these weapons as their bulwark in protecting their country. Therefore, I really believe that I won a landslide of victory over this debate. Thank you. Okay, maybe that's all about our debate today. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.